Okay, class, I'm going to give you some help on the cash collections budget. It's part of the financing budget in the master budget. Direct materials, it was obviously part of the operating budget. And it begins with taking the cash sales. So for January, we're looking at January in this column. We had $155,000 worth of sales, and we multiplied that by 40% because we had a total of 60% sales were on credit, so 40% had to be for cash. So that's our 62,000. The next thing is then how much of the credit sales do we collect? Well, in the month of January, we had 155,000 in sales again, but this time we multiply it by 60%, and then we multiply it by 0.25, which is the amount we're going to collect. And so this is the amount of the credit sales we collect in January. Okay, next we're going to calculate the amount of the month after credit sales. So again, I'll clear this. I'll put in the December sales, which up here it says $110,000. Again, we multiply this times 0.6 or 60% times this time 0.5, and it says we're going to collect 33,000 of the month after sales. And the last one is then I have to go back to November sales because it's 2 months later. I had $85,000 worth of sales. Multiply it by 60%, which is the credit sales again. Then multiply that by 0.24. This will give me the amount of cash that I collected for the November sales. Oh, I put it in the wrong one. So I'll have to fix this real fast. Sorry about that. Okay, then I add all of these up to give my total cash sales for January of 130,490. Check my answer. It looks good. Okay, I'll do one more month. I'll do February. February sales has $115,000. Let me make sure my cursor's in the right spot this time. So $115,000. That's not, I don't want that to go there. And I'll multiply that times 0.4. Now hopefully it'll go in the right spot. $46,000 of the cash sales that I collected. During this month that I had $115,000 worth of sales. Now I multiply it by 60%, and then I multiply that by 25%. That's the amount I'm going to collect, and it's 17,250. Move my cursor down to the next one. Go back to January sales because it's the month after, so I go back 1 month to January sales, which was 155,000. Again, I have to multiply it by 0.6 because that's the percentage of credit sales. I multiply that by 0.5. It gives me 46,500 is the amount of cash I collected from the January sales. Move my cursor down. I go back 2 months to the December sales, which is 110,000. Again, multiply it by 0.6. This time it's multiplied by 0.24. This gives me my total. And I click the little arrow and it puts the amount there. Add it up. I have 125,590. Check my answer. Okay, so you get an idea how you do your cash collections budget. First, you multiply the sales times 40%. Then each of these credit sales you multiply depending on the month times 60%, and then it'll tell you the amount for either the month of the sale, or you go back 1 month or you go back 2 months, And you can go ahead and do March on your own, and after that you'll have a total for the quarter.